The Journey of the Wise Man and the Lost Companions. In ancient times, there lived a wise man named Arsenius in a small village located at the foot of towering mountains. He was known among the villagers for his deep wisdom and ability to solve the most difficult problems they faced. Farmers, fishermen, and merchants from all around would come to him seeking solutions to their daily challenges, and each time he answered them with wisdom that made them return to him again and again. Arsenius did not possess much in terms of material wealth, but he owned something more precious than gold and silver: knowledge and wisdom. One day, a young ambitious man named Elar arrived in the village. He yearned to understand the secrets of wisdom and success in life. Hearing about Arsenius and his unique wisdom, he decided to ask him to teach him how to find inner peace and achieve true success. He arrived at the wise man's home, a simple structure made of stone and clay, reflecting beauty and simplicity in every corner. Elar entered and said to the wise man, "O great Arsenius, I have come to you seeking wisdom. I want you to teach me how to achieve success and find peace in my life. I feel that my life lacks something profound, and I wish to learn how to attain it." Arsenius smiled and replied, "O Elar, wisdom is not something that can be given in a day or a night. It is a journey, and every step in it teaches a lesson. If you are truly ready, I will take you on a journey that will change your life." Surprised by this response, Elar felt excitement and a desire to embark on this journey. He asked the wise man, "Where are we going?" Arsenius answered, "This journey will not be about the destination as much as it will be about understanding. We will head towards the mountains, forests, and valleys. But what we seek is not out there. It is within you." Elar agreed to accompany the wise man, and their long journey began through rocky mountains and deep valleys, heading into the unknown. Throughout their travels, Elar learned valuable lessons from the experiences he shared with the wise man. Lesson 1. Patience. At the start of their journey, they faced a fierce storm that made progress impossible. The winds howled, and heavy rains turned the ground into a muddy trap. Elar felt frustrated and angry, saying, "Why should we wait here? We are wasting time, and this storm shows no sign of stopping." Arsenius smiled and replied calmly, "Storms, like life, come and go. There are times when waiting is the best decision. You cannot change the storm, but you can choose how to react to it." They sat beneath a large tree, waiting for the storm to pass. After hours of patience, the winds calmed and the rains ceased, revealing a clear path ahead. In that moment, Elar realized that patience is a virtue that can open closed doors and that one cannot control everything in life. Lesson 2. Listening to others. After days of travel, they arrived at a small village where the residents were loudly arguing over the distribution of water from a river that flowed by their village. drought had struck the region, and water had become scarce, with each person wanting to take as much as they could. Ilar tried to intervene to calm the dispute, but he was unable to persuade them to find a compromise. After observing Ilar's failed attempts, Arsanius asked, "Did you listen to each side before you spoke?" Ilar replied, "I tried, but everyone was talking at once and I couldn't understand everything." Arsanius responded, "Listening is half the solution. If you want to help them solve their problem, you must first listen and understand their needs. When you speak before you listen, you miss the opportunity to know the whole truth." Ilar sat with the villagers, listening to each of them individually, beginning to understand their true needs. In the end, he was able to propose a solution that satisfied everyone. The answer lay in sharing the resources fairly, something he would not have reached without careful listening. Lesson 3. True power is not in control. The journey continued as they crossed into a rugged area filled with towering mountains and deep valleys. One day, as they walked along a narrow path, a group of armed thieves appeared from behind the rocks. They stopped Arsanius and Ilar and demanded that they hand over all their supplies and food. Ilar prepared to fight, reaching for his weapon, but Arsanius placed his hand on Ilar's shoulder and said, "True strength is not in control or fighting, but in knowing when to avoid conflict." Arsanius stepped forward toward the leader of the thieves, and instead of meeting violence with violence, he offered them some food and water. The thieves, who appeared to be hungry and thirsty, were astonished by this generous offer. They felt ashamed of their actions and withdrew from their plans, allowing the wise man and Ilar to continue on their way in peace. After the incident, Ilar realized that true strength is not always in using weapons or fighting. Sometimes it lies in self-control and seeking peaceful solutions. Lesson 4. Contentment. As they walked along their path toward the mountains, they passed a small cottage on a distant hill, where an elderly man lived alone. He invited them to have tea and shared his story. He had left behind the noisy material life and chose to live quietly in the cottage, satisfied with growing food around him and raising a few small animals. The old man said, "I have little, but I am happy. I have discovered that happiness is not in accumulating things, but in knowing what is enough for you." Ilar looked at the simple cottage and the happiness that filled the old man's face, realizing that true happiness is not tied to wealth or possessions, but to being content with what you have. Arsanius said, "Contentment is the secret to happiness. One does not find joy when they possess everything, but when they are satisfied with what they have." Lesson 5. Knowledge is the journey, not the destination. After weeks of traveling and learning, Ilar felt he had gained much wisdom and insight. He said to the wise man, "I believe I have found everything I was looking for. I have learned great lessons, and now see life differently. Arsanius smiled and said, "Wisdom is not something you reach and then set aside. It is a continuous journey. Each day brings new lessons, and every experience is an opportunity to learn. As long as you walk the path of life, wisdom will await you." Ilar realized that wisdom never ends, and the more he learned, the more he discovered that there was still much more to understand. He returned to his village, feeling that he had not only gained knowledge, but also a deep awareness that could make him a better leader, a more understanding father, and a friend who appreciates the value of human relationships. Final message. At the end of the journey, Ilar transformed from a young man seeking answers into a man who carried within him profound awareness and wisdom. He became a guide for the villagers, not only through words, but through actions. He would always say, "I have learned that wisdom is not at the end of the road, but in every step we take." The lesson here is that life itself is a great school, and each day carries with it a lesson: patience, listening to others, true strength, contentment, and finally, the continuous pursuit of knowledge are keys that can lead a person to true success and inner peace.